What's up, y'all? To all my listeners in Bowling Green, Kentucky, the state of Kentucky, or wherever you might be listening from, welcome back to another edition of the Wildcats and Then Some, aka the Watts Podcast. I'm your host, Deshaun. It is Wednesday, September 30th, 5 p.m. Central Time. If you haven't heard by now, which I don't think there's anyone who hasn't heard, the outcome of the Breonna Taylor case, I gotta say, I'm not surprised. I am a little disappointed though, but definitely not surprised. You know, there was a small part of me that hoped Daniel Cameron would do the right thing and prosecute the cops who killed Breonna Taylor. But to no surprise, he didn't. I'm sorry, Breonna. I'm sorry to you, to your family. I'm sorry that Daniel Cameron didn't bring justice to your family. He's damn sellout who chose to take the side of corruption. I said it. He took the side of corruption. Now, before anyone draws any conclusions, because I know how people in social media are, y'all hear what y'all want to hear and run with it. I'm not saying all cops are bad. I'm not saying all police departments are corrupt. I'm not saying this at all. I respect good cops. I respect police departments that do the right thing. I got family members who are cops or who work in law enforcement. So no, I don't hate the police. I don't hate law enforcement, but I do hate corruption and I do hate crooked ass cops. Excuse my language. And Daniel Cameron chose to take the side of the corrupt ass LMPD by not charging any of the officers. Well, actually, one officer did get charged, but they charged him with wanton endangerment. Like, really? Wanton endangerment? 3 counts of wanton endangerment. Like, what the fuck? So you couldn't charge the cops for killing Breonna, but you can charge one of the cops for blindly firing into an apartment and putting other people's lives in danger? That was just a bunch of bullshit, man. I mean that. You know, the more I read about this case, like, the fishier it gets. There's just too many red flags with this case. Number one, only one witness claims that he heard them announce themselves. 1 out of 10, 11, 12 witnesses. So y'all gonna believe one witness out of 12? The funny thing is that one witness who claims he heard the cops, when they originally interviewed him back in March, he said he didn't hear them. But then when they interviewed him 2 months later in May, now he's saying, oh, they did. But the other witnesses, they stuck to their story. Geez, I wonder what made him change his mind. Did the LMPD pay him money? Did they threaten his life? What happened? So, really, you're going to believe one witness out of 10 or so? Like, that's just ridiculous. And not only did they not announce themselves, they showed up in plain clothes. Now, I don't know about y'all, but if somebody showed up to my house in plain clothes and busted down my door and didn't announce that there was a police, I'm gonna shoot your ass too. Police or not, you don't just bust down my door and come in here causing trouble. Like, yeah, I'm gonna shoot you. If you get hit, oh well, you shouldn't have busted down my door. If you don't want to get shot, announce yourself. It's that simple. Another red flag from this case, the LMPD's SWAT team, they had no idea about this raid. When they did find out about it, they just thought it was, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. When they found out about it, they were confused as to why they were raiding her house, pretty much. That's another red flag. If the SWAT team don't know about it, then why are they doing it? Another red flag in this case, the ballistic reports. Yeah, Kenneth Walker fired a shot at the police because, again, they didn't announce themselves. And they show up to their place in plain clothing. Now, according to the ballistic report, Sergeant Mattingly, whatever the fuck his name is, he got hit with a bullet. But according to the ballistic reports, they couldn't confirm that bullet came from Kenneth Walker's gun. So, if Kenneth didn't shoot him, then he probably got hit by friendly fire. And another red flag, hell, there was no blood laying at the front of the door where Sergeant Manley got hit. I mean, what'd y'all do? Clean it up? Another red flag, no body cam footage. Actually, there was body cam footage, but the body cam footage that has surfaced on the internet was from the officers who came after the fact. The plainclothes officers, Sergeant Mattingly and Detective Hankinson and Miles Cosgrove, they didn't have their body cameras. And if they did have them, they didn't turn them on. So there was no body camera footage that caught the carnage that led to Breonna's death. Like, the whole thing, it's fishy, it's fucked up. Excuse my language, but it's terrible. I mean, Daniel Cameron, you had the chance to bring justice to Breonna and her family, and you chose to take the side of corruption. So for that, shame on you, Mr. Cameron. But you know what? I just want to say this to Daniel Cameron, to those 3 officers who were involved in Breonna's death. Y'all better get right with God, or whoever it is you believe in. You better get right with him while you have the chance, because when you do wrong to others, karma finds a way to come back and haunt you. And it ain't gonna be pretty. I mean, you don't know what karma's gonna do to you. It might take away a family member, might take away your job, I don't know. But you better get right with God while you have the chance. That's all I'm saying about that. Shout out to Ole Miss and shout out to the Florida football team. Both teams this past Saturday took a knee in solidarity to show that they're supporting the fight to protest against racism as well as police brutality. And of course, there's opposition to it. I saw many comments on social media condemning Florida and Ole Miss. I'm like, oh man, I ain't watching college football no more because they bringing politics into sports. Yeah, hold up, time out. First things first, you stupid motherfuckers. And yes, I mean it when I say that. There's nothing political about people's lives. Stop making black lives and police brutality a political matter when it's not. When I say we, I mean black people. We deserve a fair trial. We don't deserve to get killed by the police just because somebody might resist arrest. I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm not saying racism is exclusive only to white people. I'm not saying only white people are racist. But it's no coincidence that majority of the people who are opposed to the Black Lives Matter movement and opposed to these protests are racist white people. And the reason why I say stupid motherfuckers is because I ain't never met a racist that's smart. Because y'all always say the dumbest shit. Really, y'all do. Talking about, oh, stop bringing politics into sports. Well, human lives are not political, whether you like it or not. I mean, racism will not go away just because you ignore it, okay? It's ridiculous. It's like, I don't know, your house is dirty and you know it's dirty, but you don't do anything to clean it. Like, yeah, just because you ignore the stinky trash and the dirty dishes don't mean they're just gonna magically clean themselves up. It's the same thing with racism. Just because you ignore it doesn't mean it's gonna go away. So, to all you racist motherfuckers out there who are against protesting police brutality and racism, get with the times or get lost. That's all I'm saying. Because hell, now I mean it when I say it. I mean, if you're not racist, you're not going to have a problem with athletes protesting against police brutality and racism. I mean, it seems to me that anyone who does have a problem with athletes protesting against racism is racist themselves. Because yeah, it's just weird to me, because I'd be chatting with different people on social media, and one guy said, oh, I know police brutality is a problem, but they don't need to bring politics into sports. I'm like, wait a minute. So you acknowledge that police brutality is a problem, but you don't want athletes to say anything about it? Like, the fuck is wrong with you? That's just stupid. I mean, it's not, again, these problems are not going to go away just because you ignore it. I mean, I know you want to, but hey, I'll just say this to anyone out there who's opposed to the Black Lives Matter movement, who's opposed to protesting against racism. If you don't like the fact that they're protesting against racism and police brutality, just ignore it. I mean, y'all already ignore racism in this country. Y'all already ignore police brutality, so just ignore their protests, and you'll be all right, snowflake. But anyway, again, shout out to Florida, shout out to Ole Miss, shout out to the NFL and NBA for supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. And if you're against athletes protesting against police brutality and racism, fuck you. Anyways, y'all, moving on. If you're still listening, that means you're not a racist piece of shit. And that's good, because I don't want racist people supporting me. You know, it wouldn't be college football season without Kentucky fans overreacting to one loss. Yeah, we lost to Auburn. It sucks. I mean, I feel like when they called back that touchdown that Chris Rodriguez scored, it's like Kentucky just stopped trying. You know, I don't know, no matter what level of football we're talking about, whether it's pee-wee, whether it's middle school, high school, NFL, college, if the running back has the ball over the end zone, over the goal line with half of his body in the end zone, that's a touchdown 10 times out of 10. But these refs gonna try to say, oh, his knee was down before he crossed. No, he wasn't. Like, they showed that replay over and over and over again, and it was obvious that Chris Rodriguez was in the end zone and that his knee did not hit the ground before he crossed the end zone. They stole a touchdown from us. But it's all right. We just got to regroup. Just got to try again this Saturday against Ole Miss. I do believe we'll win. I think we'll get on the right track. Also, Kentucky fans, chill out. I mean, we don't need to bench Terry Wilson just yet. I mean, I've seen some fans calling for Bo Allen, which, hey, don't get me wrong, I do want to see what Bo Allen has to offer, but Terry Wilson, I mean, it's been over a year since he played. Chill out. Let him shake off the rust. He's not as bad as some of y'all say he is. I mean, we're going to be all right. It's only the first game of the season. I still think Kentucky can go 7-3, at the worst 6-4. I don't see Kentucky going 5-5 or worse. So just relax. Everything will be okay. All right, moving on from football to basketball now. If you haven't heard the news, Olivier Sarr has been cleared by the NCAA, but that's it. To which I gotta say, to the NCAA, I owe you an apology, because I thought y'all were just bullshitting and y'all didn't want Olivier Sarr to play. But apparently, now this is according to Matt Jones from Kentucky Sports Radio. This is also according to Dick Vitale. This is also according to Asia Blue. Olivier Sarr was cleared by the NCAA 2 months ago. The holdup into him playing is the SEC. Now, according to the SEC's bylaws, if a player transfers to an SEC school, he has to have at least 2 years left of eligibility, or he has to get a waiver if he wants to play right away. And since Olivier Sarr only has 1 year of eligibility left, he has to get a waiver, to which the SEC is stalling, which is no surprise. I mean, what's wrong with y'all? Are y'all scared of facing Kentucky at full strength? I mean, wouldn't you want to beat Kentucky with all their players active? I mean, Olivier Sarr last year was on the All-ACC third team. He had great games against Duke, Louisville, played great against Arizona, North Carolina, as well as Notre Dame. So, he can play great against big-time competition. I mean, are y'all afraid Kentucky's going to curb stomp you? What is it? Just let the man play. If you want to beat Kentucky at their best, let Olivier Sarr play. Because, hell, I mean, what y'all scared of? That we're going to dominate? Because, shoot, with Olivier Sarr, Kentucky is a championship caliber team. No worse than a Final Four team. Now, without Olivier Sarr, Kentucky, at best, is Sweet 16, maybe Elite 8. I mean, we've got plenty of talent, but the issue is we don't have a lot of experience. Yeah, we did bring in a grad student transfer to be our point guard in Davion Mintz, but Mintz is not going to be enough. So we definitely need Olivier Sarr. To the SEC, stop stalling. Let Olivier Sarr play. Free my man Olivier! All right. So, moving on to professional sports now. My Titans are 3-0. Shout out to the Titans. Yeah, all of our games have been ugly. We've won these 3 games by a combined 6 points. But in our defense, we've had some injuries. I mean, Adoree Jackson's injured, Vic Beasley's injured, A.J. Brown is injured, but we found ways to win without him, but we still need him healthy. Tennessee, I don't really expect the Titans to get to the Super Bowl, but it would be a pleasant surprise. My prediction, though, I believe the Chiefs will repeat as Super Bowl champions. I mean, Kansas City is just too good, man. Their offense can score on anybody. Their defense might not be the best in the league, but their defense can hold it down. I mean, when your offense can score 40 points, yeah, defense can afford to give up 30 points because there ain't too many teams in the NFL that can keep up with the Chiefs in a shootout. Now, who would the Chiefs beat in the Super Bowl? I don't know. My guess is the Packers because right now Green Bay looks the best out of all the teams in the NFC. Or it could be Seattle. The Seahawks also look pretty good right now. Really, the only team from the AFC who I could potentially see beating Kansas City and preventing them from going to the Super Bowl is Baltimore. But Kansas City made light work of Baltimore. I mean, if Baltimore can't do it, the only other team that I believe could do it is maybe Pittsburgh. I mean, they got one of the best defenses in the game. Their offense is pretty good, but if Ben Roethlisberger gets hurt, their season's pretty much over because they don't really have a good backup quarterback. Maybe the Patriots, if they can pull off a trade to get Julio Jones or something, because Cam Newton, he's proven that he still got it. But he ain't got no weapons. I mean, Julian Edelman's getting old. He ain't as good as he used to be. N'Keal Harry, he's got potential to be a good receiver, but he's young. Sony Michel, he's pretty good, but yeah, Cam Newton needs a little bit more help. Now, I mean, I don't want to see the Patriots win the Super Bowl, but hey, Cam Newton's pretty good, and he could get them there if he just had some more weapons. Like I said, Green Bay, I think right now it's a toss-up between Green Bay and Seattle as to who looks the best in the NFC. It might come down to one of those two teams as to who wins the NFC anyway. But it's going to be a good NFL season. But if you haven't heard it from anyone else, you heard it from me. Kansas City is going to repeat as the Super Bowl champions. Now, moving on to the NBA. Tonight, the NBA Finals starts. We got the LA Lakers and the Miami Heat. I believe this is going to be a good series. Now some people think Miami will get swept. Some people think Miami will upset the Lakers. My personal prediction, I think the Lakers will win it in 6. Miami's tough. They got a bunch of alpha dogs on their team. Miami's not going to let the Lakers sweep them. I think it'll at least go to 6. Jimmy Butler, he's been a pretty good leader in Miami. I gotta admit, I didn't see it coming. I mean, I knew that Miami would be a good team this year, but I didn't expect Miami to be an NBA Finals team, at least not this year. But yeah, Jimmy Butler proved that he can lead a team to the finals. Now, whether they win it or not is another story. But I see why Kawhi Leonard wanted Jimmy Butler to join him, because Paul George's ass was garbage in the playoffs. Now, granted, yeah, Paul George did have a few good games here and there, but overall, Paul George was garbage in the playoffs. And surprisingly, Kawhi Leonard was garbage too in Game 7, which is why they ended up getting beat by the Nuggets. Shout out to Jamal Murray, even though the Nuggets aren't in the playoffs anymore. You had a pretty good run. You had some 50-point games, some 40-point games. You was awesome. I mean, in my opinion, Jamal Murray has solidified himself as a top 5 point guard in the NBA going into next year. Now, I got him at number 5. The only point guards I got ahead of him are Curry, Lillard, Kyrie, CP3, and then Jamal Murray. Back to Lakers Heat. Yeah, I also want to give a shout out to Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero. Like Jamal Murray, Bam and Tyler are Kentucky boys, and they showed up and showed out in the playoffs. Especially, well, really both of them. Tyler Hero, he He had 37 points, I believe it was in game 4, which was an NBA record for most points scored by a rookie in a conference finals game. And Bam Adebayo, he led Miami in points, rebounds. I believe he led them in field goal percentage as well as assists. He showed his ass and played great in the playoffs too. Bam made his first All-Star game this year, but Tyler Hero, he's a future All-Star in the making. I mean, if I was Miami going into next year, I'd put him in the starting lineup. I mean, nothing against Duncan Robinson. He's a great player too, but Tyler's going to be a star, maybe even a superstar. I mean, seriously, Tyler, he's a baller. He's a bucket. He reminds me a lot of Devin Booker. Now, he is a little bit better on the defensive end, but Tyler Hero's a walking bucket. He can knock down shots off the dribble, get to the rim and finish. He's a good catch and shoot player. I mean, I guess if there's one area that Tyler Hero could work on, it's scoring out of the pick and roll or being a better playmaker, which he's not a bad playmaker, but his MO is scoring and shooting. Also, I can't forget, shout out to Anthony Davis. I mean, you've been balling for the Lakers. Yeah, as a Mavericks fan, I mean, I hate to root for the Lakers because, I mean, I've never liked them. But, you know, I do want to see AD win his first ring. But either way it goes, no matter who wins, a Kentucky player will be getting a ring. For Anthony Davis, it'll be his first. For Rajon Rondo, it'll be his second. For Tyler Hero and Bam, it'll be their first. But it's going to be a good finals. I mean, what it comes down to is the role players. We know LeBron James is going to do his thing. We know Anthony Davis is going to do his thing. Now, will the role players continue to play the way they've been playing? If so, yeah, the Lakers got this. It won't be easy, but if the Lakers role players show up and show out, Lakers will win the finals in 6. If they don't show up, Miami will win it in 6. Because, I mean, all throughout the playoffs, I've seen Miami's role players show up and show out. Duncan has played great. Tyler has played great. Olynyk has played great. Crowder, Iguodala, they've been balling. The Lakers, on the other hand, it's just been, well, they've been hit or miss for most of the playoffs. But the Nuggets series, yeah, they played pretty, for the most part, they were consistent. Rondo played great. Dwight Howard played great. Danny Green, yeah, dude can't hit a 3 to save his life for whatever reason, but he has played good defense. He's given them extra possessions with his offensive rebounding, so he ain't played too bad. KCP, he's been up and down, but when he's been up, it's given the Lakers a big boost. So it's going to be an interesting finals. But I'm still going with the Lakers. The only way I see the Lakers losing this series is if LeBron or AD gets injured and they can't play the rest of the series. But if everybody's healthy, everybody shows up, Lakers in 6. You heard it here first. Lakers in 6. Shout out to the Tampa Bay Lightning. I don't really follow hockey too much, but got to give a shout out to y'all for winning the Stanley Cup. And to all the baseball fans, yeah, the playoffs have started. My team, the Phillies, we're not in it, so I'm really not. Yeah, I probably won't watch too much of the playoffs. I mean, as long as the Yankees don't win it, I mean, I'll be fine with whoever wins the World Series. All right, y'all. So y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Wednesday. And justice for Breonna Taylor. Justice for George Floyd. Justice for everybody. Whether you're black, white, whatever you are. Justice for everybody who has fallen victim to police brutality. I'm Deshaun, and I'm out.